Adanna Austin. I am your business coach and consultant, and I work with high-end entrepreneurs like yourself to get very clear on your goals, identify your ideal clients, and develop those strategies to grow your business. So before we begin, I want you to tag your business bestie, tag your accountability partners, share, like, give me some hearts, give me some loves, let me know that you are here. Today we are going to talk about building your team, right? And we're going to talk about the steps that you need to take into consideration when you are at a stage when you are ready to build your team. Because the truth is that most of us start off our business as a one-man show, right? And we continue with that foundation for a little while before we decide to bring on staff, right? And there's nothing wrong with being a one-man show. However, when you are at a point in your business or your mindset when you are ready to scale your business, and scaling means being able to support more of your ideal clients in a short space of time, that is when you want to start to think about bringing on team members. That is what scaling, that is part of what scaling is, right? It's not just about how much more money that I'm bringing in. If I'm bringing in $1,000 this month or $5,000 next month, it's also about how am I building my capacity so that I can serve more people without getting burned out. Right, and that's a key thing. The thing that you want to start to think about to do that is to build a team. Now, you might be wondering, well, where do I start? Who do I bring on first? It's not a one size fits all, and it's going to be different for everybody. You have to decide in your business model what are the things that you need the most support in. Do you need a virtual assistant? And what exactly is that virtual assistant doing? A lot of times people say they need help, but they are not very clear what type of help they need and even how often they need the help, right? Because you might actually need somebody to come on as on a project basis, or you may need somebody just to work with you a few hours per week, or you may actually need somebody who works with you every single day. You as the owner of the business first have to get very clear about what kind of support you need. What skill set do you need this person to have? You can decide to hire one at a time, two at a time, three at a time. It really depends on your business. It depends on how you plan to pay them. It depends on your workload, right? All of these things you have to take into consideration. So you have to create what we like to call like a literal job spec. You know, you have to treat your business like if it's an international corporation, right? Not just because it's you alone running the business means that you want to treat it as a small business. You want to treat it as an international corporation. And if an international corporation was looking to hire staff, what would they do? They would create a job spec. First and foremost, they will create a document that highlights exactly what skill set this person needs to have, as well as that person's responsibilities on a day-to-day basis. And that is what you want to think about as well while you are reaching that stage of trying to add people onto your team. So while you're creating that job spec, one of the other things that I would encourage you to do is to also create a standard operating procedures, right? What that is literally the procedures that you would follow in the day-to-day operations of your business. So how often do you post on social media? What tools do you use? What type of images do you use? What is your usual call to action? What days do you post certain types of messages, right? What days do you do follow-up? What does your proposal deck look like? All of those great things. I would also create a standard operating procedure document. The reason I would do that is so that when I've chosen the person to come on my team, I have something in writing to give them which they can follow, right? This eliminates miscommunication. This makes sure that the objectives are clearly defined so that they can be measured and they can be met. Yeah. And you remember, this standard operating procedure document is flexible, because as your business grows, as technology changes, as new tools come on the market, you may have to switch it around a little bit, right? Or even the person that you hire may come on board and give you a new perspective or a new way of doing it, right? So you have to always remain open and have an open mindset when you're working with people, right? Because I always hear people say, I hired that person and she didn't work out. A lot of times the person doesn't work out because you yourself were not clear about the actual duties and the objectives. The expectations were not clear. By having a job description, as well as having standard operating procedures, right, it eliminates that miscommunication, and it makes sure that when you're ready to onboard this person, you are both very, very clear about what the tasks are, what the duties are, and the expectations, right? What they expect from you as a boss and what you expect from them as a team member. Does that make sense, guys? The other thing that you want to take into consideration is, once you start to onboard this person, right, you want to make sure you have a contract. A lot of times we like to do this business with a handshake, and then when things hit the fan, we complain and we complain and we complain. But again, the contract is another way to protect not just yourself, but also to protect that team member. And it's an added way for you, again, to be clear about the objectives, about what is expected from each one of you. So you want to have a job description, you want to have standard operating procedures, and you want to have a contract when you onboard them, right? When you give them an opportunity to come and join your team. And then finally, you want to give them some kind of grace period. I always say 3 months is a good grace period to give anybody who's joining your team, because remember, you've been doing this over and over and over, right? So they have to get accustomed to your voice, they have to get accustomed to your rhythm, they have to get accustomed to how you do business. And within that grace period, they will have questions, and they may even have recommendations of how you can do business even better. And this is why I keep saying to you, hire with an open mind, because you do not know everything. None of us know everything, right? You know what your zone of genius is, and more than likely you are hiring them because they have a zone of genius. So for example, if I hire a VA, their zone of genius may be email marketing or social media management. Or if I hire an accountant, their zone of genius is understanding the dollars and cents, right? And because they are in their zone of genius, and what I may be hiring them for may not be my zone of genius, you have to keep an open mind. Right? It's not about I am the boss and I know the best and I know everything. Guys, that is not how life works, right? Because as an entrepreneur, we are continuously growing and continuously learning from each other. It does not matter. And one of the things I also want to tell you, that when you decide to bring somebody on your team, also be very clear about how often you need them. So for example, I have 2 virtual assistants, and they don't work every single day. No, they don't. They actually work a set number of hours for me per week. One of them actually works only 2 days for the week, and she divides the hours between those 2 days. And the other one, she works every day, but she just does like an hour and a half every single day. So you have to make that decision with whoever you're bringing on. You might not necessarily need somebody there every single day. And like with my accountant, we kind of meet at least once a month, But during the month, he's going through my stuff as I'm updating my stuff and, asking me questions and guiding me and that kind of thing. So when you decide that you are ready to scale your business, and the other thing is that when you bring those people on board, you have to do the dollars and cents, guys, right? Because I know one of the burning questions that a lot of you are going to ask is, how am I going to pay this person? That is why you need to be very specific about the task that they will be doing for you, because whatever they will be doing for you should be able to generate that income. Either they are going to help you attract more leads, or they are going to give you the opportunity to have more time to do the income generating things so that you're actually earning enough money to pay them with ease. Right? It's always a shift in your mindset, right? It's not about how am I going to pay them, it's how are they going to afford me the opportunity to earn more money so that I can actually pay them. Because with my virtual assistants, with my personal assistant, with my accountant, with my facilitators that I have on board now, with my graphic artist that I have on board now, my event planner that I have on board now, I can delegate a lot more to my team so that I don't necessarily have to work 8 hours a day. I usually work 4 to 6 hours. I don't have to work every single day. I can take a rest. I can spend time with my family. I can go on my vacations, trusting that these people who are now part of my team are operating in their zone of genius and they understand exactly what my business needs in order for it to thrive. I hope that makes sense. Does that make sense? So you want to get very, very clear on the role. You want to create a job description, a very clear job description. You want to create standard operating procedures. You also want to ensure that you have a contract, right, stating all your dollars and cents and all the things that they need to be doing, right? And you want to give them some kind of grace period, right? I usually say 3 months, because after a week or two, unless they're real horrible, because it's life, right? Unless they're really, really horrible, you want to make sure that you give them an opportunity to really perform to the best of their ability, because it may take them a while to get on board, right? Especially if you work like me, because I work at a very, very fast pace. So I know I always have to give a grace period because I work really, really fast, and I know that I can be demanding. So I don't get upset if somebody does not work at my pace at the beginning, right? They get on board, they get into the momentum, and then we get smooth sailing and we're good to go from there, right? So I hope this helps you get very clear or get some clarity about how you bring on team members to your business when you've reached that stage. Yeah, so I hope this was well. As usual, if you have any questions, jump into my DMs. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll be glad to answer them. If you're listening to me on Instagram, jump into my DMs and let me know if you have any questions, how I can support you, how I can help you on this journey. Because you know what, guys, this is our $1,000,000 year. I haven't said it in a while to you, right? But this is our $1,000,000 year, and this is how we get to that $1,000,000, right? We can't do the same thing over and over and expect a different result. We have to push ourselves beyond our comfort zones. We have to adjust our mindset. We have to move with faith and believe that what we want for ourselves and what we want for our businesses is about to happen, right? And we are poised and ready to receive that blessing of success.